יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב, יאללה ליי 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 ליי. הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב, יאללה ליי 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 ליי. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. You know what I'm going to say. That was weak. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Oh, thank you. Wonderful. Hi, I'm Rabbi Rachel, here with cantorial soloist Jessica Tillum, and of course, to celebrate with all of you, our Bat Mitzvah, Beth, is here to lead us in prayer this afternoon. Friends, please take just a second to, if you haven't already, reached under your seat. There should be a thin black Siddur prayer book. If there isn't one, I apologize, but there's likely one under the seat next to you. So you're looking, nope, not that big blue one. Instead, you're looking for a thin black book, and it goes right to left. And on every page, you will see Hebrew. If there's Hebrew, there will be English transliteration. That means you get to read Hebrew in English letters. And then underneath, there's always a translation as well for everybody to be able to follow along. Friends, also, if you would, please take a second, silence your, take out your phone right now if it's nearby. Make sure it's on silent. Make sure all the alarms have been turned off so we can have the sanctity of this space. We ask that you don't take photographs either, and just be totally present with us here. We have this being recorded. There are friends maybe online joining us, so we say Shabbat Shalom to them as well. And if you have a smartwatch that beeps, go ahead and silence that at this time. Friends, if you need to step out of the sanctuary for any reason, you can do so over here to my left, your right. There's an exit over here. There's one behind you, and if needed, there are two behind us as well. Please, I invite you, take a second, turn to somebody that you did not come here with, introduce yourselves, and then say Shabbat Shalom, and we will come back when you hear the music.
הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב, יאללה לילה 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 לילה. הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב, יאללה לילה 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 לילה.
And one of the things I forgot to mention here at the beginning was to remember that throughout this service, it's highly participatory, which means we want you to participate. So whether that is clapping or snapping or singing along, whether it's the words of the page or lies, we think God hears all of that. And so we invite you to join us at any point in the service. At this time, we're going to turn to page 4. And if Sarah and Harry, if you guys will come on up for the presentation of the Talit. So this is the prayer shawl that one can only wear once they are considered an adult in our community. And it is considered a ritual garment, something that signals to everybody that Beth is indeed a bat mitzvah. So Beth, everybody come a little closer together. Even more. Beautiful. Whenever you guys are ready.
As this tallit is draped around your shoulders, may the voices of the generations speak to you. May you know that there is a people, a rich heritage to which you belong, a sacred place from which you are connected to all who dwell on earth. As you are embraced in the folds of this tallit, so too are you wrapped in the loving embrace of your family, community, and this holy congregation. May this simplest of garments always be for you a symbol of God's abiding and sheltering presence. As you recite the blessing and wrap yourself in this tallit, we proudly watch and celebrate with you as you accept your place in the chain of our tradition.
Perfect. So now you will go ahead and look at your blessing and speak into the microphone and do our blessing for the talit.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav bat zivanu lahi atef bat zitzit.
Amen. All right, and now we get to wrap you in this talit and fix your hair. Pull it back, pull your hair through. Perfect. Let's see. Beautiful. Mom and Dad all stand together as we bless this day, bless this moment for reaching this moment in time. We share together in words of Shechianu, page 4.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kimanu v'hikianu lazman hazeh.
All right, friends, we are on page 5, right here.
God be with me on this occasion as I become a bat mitzvah. Help me make meaningful the covenant you now establish with me. Sustain me with a sense of holiness. Inspire me a desire to be special. I do not ask that you make my life easy, resolve my problems, or map out the direction of my life. I only ask that you strengthen me with the desire to mold and shape my life in accordance with your will. In this hour of my bat mitzvah, I invoke your blessings upon my parents, friends, and all of those who have loved and cared for me, all who have brought me to this time of gladness. Give them joy and fulfillment in my growth and achievement. You who turn the hearts of children to their parents and the hearts of parents to their children.
Amen, amen. And friends, on page 6, we have that first responsive reading. That means you guys are up when it's time for the italics. And Beth, this is a prayer for the congregation. It's one about being welcoming and open. And I know we can always count on you to be a calm but quiet smile for everyone who walks into this sanctuary. So if you will, please lead us on page 6.
May the door of the synagogue be wide enough to receive all those who hunger for love, all who are lonely for fellowship.
May it welcome all who have cares to unburden, thanks to express, hopes to nurture.
May the door of the synagogue be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride.
May its threshold be no stumbling block to young or straying feet.
May it be too high to admit indifference, selfishness, and harshness.
May this synagogue be, for all who enter, the doorway to a richer and more meaningful life. We turn to page 15 for our call to worship, Baruch Hu. Please rise.
Yai na nai 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 nai. Yai na nai 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 nai. Yai na nai 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 nai. Yai na nai 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 nai. Yai na nai 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 nai. Yai na nai 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 nai. Yai na nai 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 nai. Yai na nai 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 nai. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach. HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. HaMevorach. HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
We turn to page 17. And in just a moment, Beth is going to lead us into this lead us through this prayer of Ma'ariv Aravim. And it's one that draws our attention to liminal moments, that changes happen like that. And the changing of light to darkness, not so much like that. Instead, it's a gradual shift, just like you don't go from being your sister's size to your size like that. And if you did, I guess COVID happened, so you kind of did. But it's this idea that change is gradual, and that through each of those steps and each of those transitions, you have your community to be with you, you have this essence of God around you, and this prayer is a reminder of that. So let's pray together, Ma'ariv Aravim.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, bechokma poteach she'arim, uvibuna mishaneh itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umsader et hakochavim, b'mishmerotehem barakia kirtzono, borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, b'choshech mipnei or, uma'avir yom umevi layla, umavdil bein yom uvein layla, Adonai tzvaot shemo, El chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu leolam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. And then on page 20, we have Ahavat Olam. And this is our evening prayer that reminds us of God's everlasting love. It's that reminder that no matter what mistakes we may make, that there's always room for us to do better, and that throughout any of those struggles, that there is something bigger than us out there, and that essence, that God, is willing to still love us. And if something that vast and big is willing to love us when we are at our worst or when we're at our best, it's a message to us to try to reflect that back into the world as well. Whether somebody's just having a bad day or they're having a great day, that we can show them an everlasting love. And so together we'll all pray these words of Ahavat Olam. Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha Ahavta. Torah umitzvot, chukim umishpatim, otanu limadata. Al kain Adonai Eloheinu, b'shochbenu uvkumenu nasiach bechukecha, v'nismach b'divrei Toratcha uvmitzvotecha leolam va'ed. Ki hem chayenu ve'orech yamenu, uvahem nege yomam v'layla, ve'ahavatcha al tasir mimenu leolamim. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. And on page 21, we have words of Shema, or perhaps you'd like to close your eyes, feel your feet grounding you to the floor, and we stand proud as we declare God's oneness, Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed.
Please be seated. We continue with words of Ve'ahavta on page 22. And this prayer of Ve'ahavta, it is a reminder about the reminders to try to be a good person. It's this idea that it's saying, hey, we're not going to be perfect all the time, so we need to put the Jewish sticky note, if you will, up on our mirror. And what is the Jewish sticky note? That is the mezuzah. This idea that we can put on our doors or on the doorpost of our fence, something that says, this place is holy, this place is sacred. And when we look around in these holy places, that's a reminder to be a good person. That's a reminder that wherever we are that has those mezuzot is a place that's asking us to be our best selves. And so as you lead us in this prayer, you do so now as in, actually, you're kind of in that liminal space I was talking about earlier in Ma'ariv Aravim. We're in this liminal space where you're not exactly a child of the congregation anymore. That after you read from the Torah this afternoon, you become an adult in our congregation, which means you move from the teach this repeatedly to our children and being the child to instead now you're the teacher. Okay, tell that to your sister, right? Just kidding. But that you are, in our congregation, you get to be quite literally a teacher, that on Sundays you get to come back to us and be the teacher to other kids in our community. So, in that liminal space, almost a teacher, you'll still be a child to your parents and us for a little bit. But in a Jewish context, as the teacher, let us pray Ve'ahavta together.
Ve'ahavta
et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinatam levanecha v'dibarta bam B'shivtecha b'veitecha, uv'lechtecha v'derech, uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha, uv'shartam leot al yadecha, v'hayu letotafot bein einecha, uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha, uv'yisharecha, leman tizkeru, Basitem et kol mitzvotai, vitem kedoshim le'elohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, liot lachem le'elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem. Emet. On page 23, as we prepare for Micha Mocha, Rick Friedman, if you would come to our microphone down here on the floor to lead us responsively in this prayer.
Adonai, our God, you took us out of slavery in Egypt. You made us free.
You were in the courage with which we overcame 40 years of desert wandering.
Even today, you are in the hope that, like a beam of light, brightens the darkness of suffering and despair.
You are in the love that creates, protects, forgives.
Standing at the sea, we felt your goodness and your love, and we sang a new song to you. And still today, we sing that song.
We praise you, Adonai, Redeemer of Israel. Thank you so much. Micha Mocha, page 25.
Noratehi loro sei felet, noratehi loro sei felet. Manechutecha ra'uvanecha, bokei hayom lifnei Moshe. Zelianu ve'ameru, Zelianu ve'ameru. Adonai imol le'olam va'ed. Adonai imol le'olam le'olam va'ed.
We turn to page 26, and on this page we have our the beginning of our Amidah. So this is our central standing prayer. I'll ask that you please rise.
Barakatah Adonai. Adonai sifatai ta ufia gita hilateha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Hasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zoher Hasei Avot v'imahot, Umevi Gula Livnei B'neihem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Mashiach U'Magen. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Abraham ve'Ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayei hakol atah Rav le'Hoshia. Mashiach haruach u'morid hagashem, Mechakel hayim behesed, Mechayei hakol berachamim rabim. Somech noflim berofei cholim, Umatir asurim, Umechayei emunato, Lishenei afar, Michamocha ba'al gevurot, Umito melach, Melech memit, Umechayei, Umatzmiach Yeshua, B'ne'emanata lechayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayei hakol.
And on page 28, we'll remain standing for just a little bit longer. If Greg Kranak will please come to our microphone and lead us in this responsive prayer.
Many are the ways of holiness, varied are its paths.
There is holiness when we strive to be true to the best we know.
There is holiness when we are kind to others.
There is holiness when we strive for harmony in all of our relationships.
There is holiness when people of different backgrounds work together for a common future.
There is holiness when people seek justice and struggle for righteousness.
There is holiness when people create lasting poetry or song or philosophy.
There is holiness when we forget what divides us and remember what unites us.
Holy, holy, holy is Adonai our God.
Page 30, Kiddusha.
Ata kadosh v'simchat kadosh, ukdoshim b'chol yom yahalucha salah. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh.
And please be seated unless you are Leah Friedman and Aaron Friedman, because you are leading us in the responsive prayer on page 31.
From of old, the Jewish people have seen Shabbat as a unique gift, a token of its covenant with God.
Shabbat is the most cherished creation of the Jewish spirit. It mirrors the essence of the Jewish soul.
Shabbat has never been merely a day of rest from labor. It has always been a break in the routine of everyday life.
Shabbat is a symbol of liberation and triumph, of the holy over the profane, of spirit over matter.
In every age, Shabbat afforded the Jew a sacred retreat, a haven of society, a fountain of new strength, and perpetual renewal.
Shabbat nurtures family life in love and harmony. A home at peace welcomes Shabbat with joy.
Shabbat is part of nature's design, the very purpose of creation. All that was created attained its fulfillment in Shabbat.
Shabbat is our hope, the calm haven where all the weary find rest. With the coming of Shabbat, redemption and peace enter the world. Our prayer for Shabbat, Yismechu, bottom of page 31.
Yismechu v'malechutecha, shomrei, shomrei, shomrei v'korei oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malechutecha shomrei 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 Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Mekadeshei shavi Shabbat. Kulam yisvu v'yitengu v'suvecha Shabbat. Yismechu v'malechutecha shomrei 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 Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Uvashmi ratzita bo v'kidashto Shabbat. Chemdat yamim oto karata Shabbat. Yismechu v'malechutecha shomrei 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 Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Zecher l'maaseh b'reishit Shabbat. Zecher l'maaseh b'reishit Shabbat. Yismechu v'malechutecha shomrei 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 Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat.
And to help lead us in our prayer about the gift of peace, I'd like to call up Jane and Bob Workman to our microphone.
Our God, we know there is no greater gift than peace. Help us to find the peace that comes from the love of your Torah.
Inspire us to banish hatred, war, bloodshed, and bigotry. Help us to establish forever one human family, doing your will in love and peace.
Help us to find peace in ourselves and among all people. O God of peace, bless us with peace.
You have given us the power, O God, to bring peace and justice into the world. May we always love peace and pursue it, and love our fellow creatures. Fill us with kindness, wisdom, and love. Then shall we learn to live in peace.
Blessed is God, teacher of peace.
We take a few moments for silent prayer and meditation, and we'll join back together in just a few moments on page 34.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech Adon lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech Adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov beinecha levarech et amcha Yisrael bechol eid ubechol shah bishlomecha. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam.
We turn to page 36 and invite back up proud mom and dad to offer the parents' blessing. And I have a copy up here if you want to, either way.
May you live to see your world fulfilled. May your destiny be for worlds still to come, and may you trust in generations past and yet to be.
May your heart be filled with intuition, and your words be filled with insight. May songs of praise ever be upon your tongue, and your vision be on a straight path before you.
May your eyes shine with the light of holy words, and your face reflect the brightness of the heavens. May your lips ever speak wisdom, and your fulfillment be in righteousness.
A Jewish home opens its heart, and its link to the generations is proclaimed. Today, nearly grown, you are called to read from the Torah and are welcomed into the congregation. May this moment be blessed.
Beautiful, beautiful. More hugs, don't go anywhere. Both because you're giving hugs and because you're staying up here for the next part of our service. So we are transitioning into our Torah service, which means we have a bunch of moving parts about to happen. So part number 1, we're going to be on page 37, if you'd like to find that page. And Hannah, if you would come up and stand by Miss Jessica. Oh, no, you're opening the ark. You go all the way up. Yep, never mind. All the way up, all the way up. And then if Howard and Ellen Rovack, proud grandparents, would come on up, and you'll stand just up by the American flag. And we recognize also proud grandfather Marvin Friedman, who is watching with us online. So if the congregation, as you guys keep making your way up, take your time. If everybody will please rise, we're on page 37.
Ki mitzion teitzei Torah, Ki mitzion teitzei Torah, Udevar Adonai mirushalayim, Baruch Shenatan Torah, Torah, Baruch Shenatan Torah, Torah, Le'amo Yisrael, B'Kedushato.
There we go. Okay. All right, friends. So we've been working towards this point in our service. This is when you get presented formally with the Torah, and we do this quite literally and metaphorically, that if you look at your parents, they had to exist to help bring you here. You look at grandparents behind them, you wave at grandpa online, red camera. Now behind your grandparents, go look over their shoulder, you see great-grandparents. You know what I mean? And great-great and great-great, everybody wrapping around the sanctuary so that you could be here today. And so what we're going to do is your grandparents are going to pass, they're going to give a little hug to the Torah, and then to your parents, we're going to pass it to you, okay? Just a little hug to it. Perfect, that's it, yep. Not the whole way. I keep it. Beautiful. It's just so we don't drop it. Perfect. Now I will pass it to Dad. You got it? All right. And you'll pass it to Beth. She just asked if it's heavy, and the answer is, it's the weight of our people. So it is very heavy. All right. Do you have a good grip? We won't start till you do. Feel comfy? All right, let's get a better hand here, though, like a baseball bat. Ever hold one of those? So right here. There it is. Perfect, and you've done your job. Rock star. All right, friends, we continue on page
39.
Thank you, 39.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo, Gadlul Adonai Tiumaromama, Shemo Yachdav, Lecha Adonai Hagedula v'Hagevura v'Hatiferet v'Hatzitzach v'Hahod, Ki chol b'shemayim u'va'aretz, ki ho bashemayim uvaretz. Lecha Adonai hamamlacha, tamid na'aseh lechol erosh. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'yishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'yishtachavu lehar kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'yishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'yishtachavu lehar kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai. Yai lai 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 lai.
Perfect. As she gets those ark doors closed, you may be seated. Is this mine? No. All right, and helping me to Gabbai, we have the lovely Miss Joanne. Thank you. So friends, under your chairs, once again, you will find a blue book that says the Torah. If it says anything besides the Torah, you grabbed the wrong blue book. I know, it's confusing. See, yep, wrong one. And if there's not two, then again, that's one of those problems where there's one nearby. So this afternoon, Beth is going to be chanting for us from the Torah portion, Ki Tisa. Looks like it rolled a little here. All right, you see your spot? Okay. And then we have a yod right over there. Perfect. And so in your Plout commentary, that's the book that you grabbed that says the Torah. If you turn to page 646, we'll be in chapter 32. Need this to check? Yes. So we'll be on chapter 32 on page 646. And if you'd like to follow along with our Torah blessings, those can be found back in your black Siddur on page 40. And so it is my pleasure to call forward for our first Aliyah, a whole group of you. Ellen and Howard Roback, Michelle Beckett and Talia Kranak, as well as proud mom and dad, Harry and Sarah Roback. Ya'amdu, Yehudis bat Nusan, Chaim Beryl, Faisal, Rivka, Esther bat Faisal, Talia bat Faisal, Herschel, Avram, Aharon ben Chaim v'Yehudas, la'aliyah. And I'm going to pass to you guys our blessing sheet for anybody who needs it, as well as 2 microphones. Who's our loud voices? Loud, proud voices, you hold the mics. Somebody's got to hold the microphones. All right, friends, whenever you're ready, Baruch Hu. Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Ha'amim V'natan Lanu Et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Notain HaTorah.
Amen. You guys nailed it. That was great. That was great. All right. Are you going to spot? Whenever you are ready, and we'll make sure the mic picks you up.
Hayomir Alihem Aharon Parkunis Me Hazahav Asher Ba'oz Nehem Nishahem Biznehem Ubinotehem Behaviyu Ele Veid Parku Kol Ha'amim Et Nizme Hazahav Asher Ba'oz Nehem Nishahem Behaviyu
El Aharon. Beautiful. Our blessing for after.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai, notain haTorah.
Amen. Beautiful. So this whole group, I'll take your microphones. Yep. You're right. This whole group, I will have you slide to be at the piano-ish area. All right, and now Beth gets to take her magical break, where she goes and she sits down for a second. And the reason that we have her sit is because this is the moment when she really becomes bat mitzvah. That when we call people forward for an aliyah, it's literally a going up, both physically and spiritually. Anticlimactic if she's already standing at the Torah. So she's been standing a while, we let her take a seat. And now it is my pleasure to call you up, Beth, formally, for the first time, as a bat mitzvah. Tamad Elisheva Leah bat Hershel Avram Aaron the aliyah. So I'll take your talit and do a little touch, kiss, and our blessings.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvarah.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam. Asher b'har banu min kol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torah. Baruch atah Adonai notain haTorah.
Amen. All right, before you begin, Mom and Dad, come stand and hold this Torah scroll. Perfect. Wonderful. And when you are ready, you don't, oh yeah. There you go. We're right here with you.
Hayka mi'adam v'yutzar oto v'heret v'zehet egel meseha v'yomru eleh Elohecha Yisrael asher Elohecha me'eretz Mitzrayim v'yar Aharon v'yiven mitzvah lefanav v'yikra alo v'yamar Hagel Adonai mer ha'ar v'yikimu memahorat v'ya'alu olot v'yagishu shilamim v'yishev ha'am le'ohel v'shatel
Vayakumu
v'yikilu
Litzafek. Beautiful. All right. And then one more time, touch with the talit and kiss. Perfect. And our blessing for after.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'hayei olam natan b'toheinu. Baruch atah Adonai notain haTorah.
Amen. Ta-da! Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, friends. So, yep, exactly. That part of the family, go ahead and have a seat. Mom and Dad, if you could flank the lovely Miss Beth here. And with our sacred Torah in our midst, we have the chance to offer you, Beth, a special blessing for your spiritual growth. Okay? So, friends, we're on page 41. Mishaberach avotinu v'imotinu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah Hu yivarech et Elisheva Leah bat Hershel Avram Aaron שהגיעה למצוות ועלתה לתורה. הקדוש ברוך הוא ישמרך ויחייך, ויכונן את ליבה, להיות שלם עם אדוני אלוהיך, להגות בתורתו, ללכת בדרכיו ולשמור מצוותיו, ותמצא חן ושכל טוב בעיני אלוהים ואדם, ונאמר, Amen, which means, may God, who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless you, Beth, because you have come for an aliyah upon the age of mitzvot. May the Holy One guard you and sustain you, helping you to be wholehearted in your faith, studying God's Torah, walking in God's ways, and fulfilling God's mitzvot. May you find favor before God and all people, and let us say, Amen. Hugs again. All right, so we now have the opportunity, before we hear some words of Torah from Beth, that we are going to rise and dress our Torah. So we're on page 42. Hannah, put your Torah commentary away because I need your help back up here. Yep, please rise. And if you'll grab the blue, perfect. And Mom and Dad, you guys can actually go sit down, or go stand at your seats. Perfect.
וזאת התורה אשר שם משה לבני בני ישראל על פי אדוני ביד משה. יאללה לי 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 יאי לי 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 יאי לי 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 יאללה לי 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 יאי לי 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 יאי לי 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 לי.
You may be seated. Oh goodness, how do you get that thing out?
Do that.
Oh.
See what I don't have? I suck.
Perfect.
Shabbat Shalom. My Torah portion is Kitisa from the book of Exodus. It begins after Moses has delivered the Israelites out of slavery in Egypt. Moses had gone to Mount Sinai where he stayed for 40 days and 40 nights. God instructed Moses to tell the Israelites to keep Shabbat so they can rest like God did on the seventh day. Keeping Shabbat is a sign of the covenant between the Israelites and God. After God finished speaking to Moses, God gave Moses 2 tablets written with God's finger. When Moses was on Mount Sinai, the Israelites were not hopeful that Moses would return, so they asked Aaron to fashion them a new god. The Israelites wanted a god that they could see. Aaron agreed and told the Israelites to bring them all of their gold jewelry. The Israelites brought Aaron their gold jewelry, and Aaron made it into a golden calf. Aaron then announced that there would be a festival for the golden calf happening the following day. The Israelites came the next day with offerings for the new god and began to feast. The Israelites started worshiping the golden calf, and that is when Moses came down from Mount Sinai. Moses was very upset to find the Israelites worshiping the golden calf as a god. In his anger, Moses threw down the 2 tablets, and both of them smashed into pieces. He then went over to the golden calf and burnt it to ash. Moses asked Aaron why he had allowed the Israelites to commit such a great sin by worshiping an idol. Aaron told Moses that the Israelites did not know if Moses was coming back from Mount Sinai, and they wanted a God that was visible. After he calmed down, Moses told the Israelites they had committed a great sin, and he was going to ask God for forgiveness. Moses returned to Mount Sinai and asked God not to kill the people who had sinned. God was merciful and agreed to not kill the Israelites, but God did put a plague on their town. God then made Moses a new set of rules on 2 tablets. Moses brought the new tablets down from Mount Sinai to the Israelites. The tablets became known as the 10 Commandments. My Torah portion has many lessons, including not worshiping false idols, keeping hope alive, protesting on behalf of others, and the fact that Moses had a really bad temper. The lesson I connect with most, however, is that it is important to follow the rules and do the right thing in order to be a good person. To be honest, I have broken a few rules in my day, but I try my best to do the right thing, follow the rules, and be a good person. As I have gotten older, I have learned that rules are there for a reason. For example, to keep ourselves and others safe and to ensure that people behave in a positive manner. The Torah helps people stay on the right path by providing the 10 Commandments, which are rules that were useful long ago and that are still useful now. I learned from the Israelites not to break rules because it's the wrong thing to do and punishment will follow. One of the rules in the Torah is honoring your parents. This rule is a great rule because parents do so much for us and they only want the best. Some of the other rules are not to steal and not to kill someone. These rules are as important now as they were back then. They are important because you should not take anything that does not belong to you and you should not cause anyone harm. All of these rules form the foundation of a well-functioning society. Becoming a bat mitzvah means that I am choosing to take my Judaism seriously. I have loved being Jewish since my first day at Sunday school. I have enjoyed preparing for my bat mitzvah. It has been a great learning process every step of the way. I have made some very good friends and I have learned a lot about Jewish culture and history. The process of being able to recite so many prayers has been hard, but now that I am here, I would not trade the last several months for anything. I hope that my Judaism will still play an active role in my life, even after my bat mitzvah. I plan to continue attending services and not just on the high holidays. And I plan to come to Sunday school to help younger kids learn prayers. Outside of temple, I also plan to continue Jewish traditions of Passover, Purim, and of course Hanukkah. I will also eat all of the delicious food that comes with these holidays, except for gefilte fish. The Jewish value important to me and my family is happiness, which in Hebrew is simcha. To me, happiness means appreciating the small things that bring in life and that bring you and people you care about joy. Unfortunately, there are a lot of things that are to be sad and stressed about. We only have to watch the news to know that. Finding joy in everyday things like spending time with my family or hanging out with my friends is how I find happiness. Today is a good example of that. Now that I become a bat mitzvah, I also want to travel to Israel. I learned about Israel in school and I've met many people from there. I hope to visit it, maybe even with other members of Temper Emanu-El. My Torah portion connects to Tikkun Olam, which means repair of the world, because Moses helped the Israelites when he came down from Mount Sinai to right their wrong. For my bat mitzvah project, I also tried to help people who are less fortunate than me. I volunteered at Atlanta Community Food Bank, which is an organization that tries to make sure that people have food to put on their table. In closing, I would like to thank some people who have made today possible. Thank you, Rabbi Rachel, Rabbi Maxie, and Rabbi Spike for making Sunday school incredibly fun. Thank you, Rabbi Rachel, for also helping me write my Devar Torah. Thank you, Miss Joanne, for helping me study Hebrew so that I am able to recite all of these prayers during the service. Thank you to Miss Jessica for her amazing singing today and every day. I would like to thank Nana, Poppy, Grandpa, and Grandma for being wonderful grandparents. I also want to thank Hannah for being an amazing sister and friend. Mom, thank you for always being there for me and introducing me to 80s movies and 90s sitcoms and being a great role model. Dad, thank you for loving me, always supporting me, and planning great family trips and going on a roller coaster with me after you eat an entire plate of nachos. I want to thank each of you for sharing this special day with me. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Beautiful words of Torah from the latest young woman in our congregation. We are all so blessed, so thank you. You're putting them back in order. This girl is organized, let me tell you. All right, friends, so we are going to turn in our prayer book, back in our prayer books to page 44. And this is for our blessing for America. And we'll join together in the English. O God, we invoke your blessing upon our country, the United States of America, as we strive to be a beacon of light in a darkening world. Sustain us during times of uncertainty, guard us from calamity and injury, give us the courage to confront evil. Enlighten us with your wisdom, and sustain with your power those whom the people have granted authority, the President, their advisors, and all who are entrusted with our safety. May peace and goodwill, courage, understanding, and hope prevail among all the inhabitants of our land. May your goodness spread its blessings among us and exalt our nation in righteousness. And together we say, Amen. We also offer a prayer for the peace of Israel, Avinu Shabbat page 45.
Avinu Shabbat Sur Yisrael v'go'alo, Barech et Medinat Yisrael, Reshit Tzmichat Geulateinu.
Together in the English. O Heavenly One, Protector and Redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shield it beneath the wings of your love, spread over it the canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there. Amen.
Avinu Shabbat Sur Yisrael v'go'alo, Barech et Medinat Yisrael, Reshit Tzmichat Geulateinu.
We prepare to return the Torah to the Ark. We're still on page 45. Hannah, you're a busy girl today. If you would come back to open the Ark for us, and I'll ask that the congregation please rise.
Eitz Chaim hi lamachzikim ba v'tomcheha meushar derachecha darchei noam v'chol netivotecha shalom. Hashivenu Adonai Elecha v'nashuva Chadesh Chadesh Yameinu Chadesh Yameinu Kekedem.
Please be seated. And Beth, if you'll come on and stand up here. Not too close. No, I'm just kidding. You did it. So, Beth, it has been such a joy to watch you grow up in this congregation since I had the chance to arrive here. And one of the things I really learned about you is that, number one, you're usually not the loudest person in the room. You're a very calm and quiet presence. And at the same time, if there's something that you're passionate about, like who you want to, work with in a group, suddenly she becomes very loud. And she speaks up, and that voice, it really grows and grows and grows. And I will tie that to Beth cares about something. She speaks out and is really passionate about it. And that is an amazing quality to have. May have driven me a little nutty Fagin while I was your teacher on Sundays, but it's an amazing quality because it means that when you care about something, that there's a little fire burning inside of you that's ready to brew, and it is ready to speak up and be that loud and passionate voice. And I love that you're not the loudest person in the room all the time. I love that you're that quiet, calm presence. And as you continue to grow and mature, I cannot wait to see how that little voice of yours continues to speak bigger and about even more important things in life than just who your partner is in a 6th grade activity, but the real problems of the world. Because I know you're watching and I know you're listening because you spoke about it in your Devar Torah, that you're aware that this world is in need of fixing. And my dear, you have all the tools you need to be one of the people who's the caring, nice, calm, collected person who's going to help us fix that world. So my hope for you is that you continue to build up that confidence and continue to get mad about certain things. That means get passionate about certain things and motivated to really be a change maker. So now it's my pleasure for us to be able to offer you a priestly benediction. So if you'll come a little closer, the congregation will please rise.
Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
May God bless you and keep you safe.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichoneka.
May the light of God shine upon you and always be gracious to you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
And wherever you walk, wherever life's journey takes you, may you feel grounded in each step, and may you know God's most important gift of all, the gift of peace. Together we say, Amen. Please be seated unless you are proud mom and dad who have their own blessings to share.
Beth, first I want to say how proud I am of you. It takes a lot of hard work and courage to do what you are doing today. You are a kind, loving, and intelligent human being. You are also fiercely determined, and I know that is a quality that will take you far in life. In addition, you have an excellent sense of humor, which will make your life a lot more enjoyable. One of my favorite things about you is that you are an excellent big sister. When you and Hannah were very young, I think you were about 4 and Hannah was about 2, I remember coming upon you teaching Hannah how to pronounce the word awesome. You are nothing if not awesome. From the way you treat other people, both family and friends, your work ethic, and your love of animals. It always makes me smile when I think about how, when we walked into Petco to buy cat food for our current cat, and not to obtain additional cats, you and Hannah had the cats who would become Lily and Gracie Roback, snuggling with you in 5 minutes flat. And if we let you, you would have a whole zoo of different animals. But for now, 2 cats will have to be enough, at least if your dad and I are to keep our sanity. Your generosity does not go unnoticed, and I always appreciate all of your help around the house, as well as your willingness to always share whatever is yours, including dessert, which I know, after animals, is your first love. One of the things I always look forward to at the end of the day when you were small was reading aloud to you. We started out with books with not so many words, like Goodnight Gorilla and Snuggle Puppy, and graduated to books with lots of words, like Harry Potter. But through it all, I had the best reading buddy in the world, and I'm so glad I've been able to share my love of reading with you. And now that you're a bit older, I love having someone who appreciates at least some of the same movies and TV shows as I do. I could not be more proud that I have passed along a love of girls just want to have fun to another generation. If that is my only legacy as a parent, I feel that I have done my duty. In closing, I will say that I cannot believe how quickly the time has passed. I cannot believe my sweet baby girl is old enough to be a bat mitzvah. I also know that I am going to blink and you will be going off to college. So I will do what I am able to live in the moment and enjoy the time I have with you under the same roof. And I will appreciate this great gift that I have been given. Ultimately, perhaps the biggest compliment I can give you is that if I wasn't blessed to have you as my daughter, I would want you to be my friend. That is, if you would have me. I'm the luckiest person in the world because I'm your mom, and I love you, always.
Beth, right after you were born, your mother asked me who I thought you resembled. I responded, she looks like you. Over time, I've seen that you share many other great qualities with your mom. You are smart, kind, and determined. You have a great sense of humor. You are loyal to your friends and family. You treat people with respect, have a strong moral compass, and you have integrity. As just one example, I remember when you were 3 years old, I brought home a donut and put it on top of the refrigerator so that I could eat it later. You informed me that you were telling Mom. Even though I eventually offered you half the donut, which I thought was a pretty good deal, the moment your mother walked in the door, you told her, and I quote, Dad hid a donut on top of the fridge. It was a donut, not a cupcake. The hid part was gratuitous, although not necessarily wrong. I knew then that you were perceptive, trustworthy, had a strong sense of fairness, and that you are way too honest to be my partner in crime. Yes. Your grandparents have brought a lot of mild stuff to our house over the years, including the folder from my bar mitzvah more than 30 years ago. In the speech that I gave at my bar mitzvah, I said that I hope one day my children will add the next link in the chain of Robacks who follow Jewish traditions, and you are doing precisely that today. I also found your grandparents' speech to me in the folder. At my bar mitzvah, they said they love me, they're proud of me, they wish me great personal and professional fulfillment, and they hope I don't have to move back in with them as an adult. Lador Vador means from generation to generation, and that is one of the great things about today. You get to celebrate today with 3 generations of your family, as well as your friends. And now, more than 30 years after my bar mitzvah, I can tell your grandparents that I love them, I'm proud of them, and I hope they don't have to move in with me.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, they can move in with Aunt Michelle. Let me close by saying thank you for making our dreams come true. I'm proud of you, I'm grateful for being your dad, and I love you, always.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yep, this is a lot of hugs, I know. Stay up here, guys, stay up here, guys. Hannah, it's your turn. Come on back up. Don't worry, you don't have to say anything. But I do need you to open the ark in just a second. So if the congregation will please rise as we begin to conclude our service, page 46. That's your cue.
Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol, latet gedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu kegoye haratzot, velo samanu kamishpakot hadama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, vegor aleinu kechol hamonam, Vanachnu korim umishtakabim umodim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu v'nemar v'haya Adonai lamelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu Bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo, u'shemo, u'shemo echad.
Thank you. All right, so family will come down here to the Amud, to our stand. I need everybody to know, please be seated, that every single time Hannah has opened the ark, Beth has quietly whispered, "Don't make a bang sound." Everybody executed perfectly. So friends, at this point in our service, we call to mind the memories of loved ones who passed in recent days or seasons past, and we imagine them here with us on this special, special day. And so I know the family is especially thinking of Maud Pincus, Leo Friedman, Leah Roback, and Diana Kranak. If there's anybody in the first 30 days, the period of Shloshim, I invite you, mourning the loss of a loved one, I invite you to please rise so we may recognize you. If anyone is in the first year, Yud Bet, mourning the loss of a loved one, I invite you to rise so we may recognize you. If on this Shabbat you are commemorating a yahrzeit, a death anniversary of a loved one, I invite you to rise so we may recognize you. And if it is your custom to rise, as it is here at Temple Emanu-El, I invite you to do so now, please. Our mourner's Kaddish can be found on page 48. There you go. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם עולמי עמיה, יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקדושה בריחו, לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דאמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו amen.
Friends, if you're seated, I ask you to please rise as we move into our next mini service. This is our Havdalah. It separates Shabbat from the rest of the week. The blessings for that can be found on pages 50 and 51. All right, who's holding what? You're holding the drink, all right. Okay, and hold it with the tray.
Yai lai 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 lai. Ya lai 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 ya lai lai ya lai lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Ya lai 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 ya lai lai ya lai lai. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei minei v'samim, borei minei v'samim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei morei ha'esh, borei ha'esh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamavdil ben kodesh lechol, hamavdil ben kodesh lechol.
Right, Hannah, take a sip. Just a little sip, and then you're going to dip the candle into the... I know it gets stuck. There you go.
Hamavdil ben kodesh lechol, chatotenu yumiko, zareinu v'chaspenu yarbekacho, v'chakokavim b'layla. Eliyahu hanavi, Eliyahu hatishbi, Eliyahu, Eliyahu, Eliyahu hagiladi, bimera beyamenu, yavo eleinu, Mashiach ben David, Mashiach ben David. Simen tov, mazel tov, simen tov, Simen Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Simen Tov, Simen Tov, Mazel Tov, Simen Tov, Mazel Tov, Yehelanu, 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 Ulecha Yisrael, Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulecha Yisrael, Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulecha Yisrael, Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulecha Yisrael.
Mazel Tov and Shavua Tov, everybody.